Welcome back to Golf WRX's Winning What's in the Bag. This week we are taking a look at Stephan Jaeger's What's in the Bag from the 2024 Children's Texas Houston Open. A big win, held off Scotty Scheffler. Congratulations to him on a great weekend. What a way to finish it off with a PGA Tour victory. Now, his bag we unfortunately haven't taken a deep dive into in a couple years, so what we have is some information on his bag, but we don't have all the gritty details that we sometimes get with some other bags that are a little more current. But we will again start from the top and start with driver, and that is going to be the Ping G430 LST. It's a 9-degree head, and the LST is, of course, the lowest spinning, lowest launching model in the G430 lineup. It does produce kind of a very neutral and flat penetrating ball flight. His is shafted up with a Project X Hazardous Black 4th Gen 60TX. So the Project X Hazardous Black 4th Gen is the most current version of the black hazardous shaft. Now, while it's not as low launch and low spin as some of its previous siblings, it is pretty low mid launch and low mid spin. It's got a great smooth feel to it and has had a good amount of play on tour. And when we get to the Fairway Wood, we do have a few more details on this one. It is a Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Triple Diamond. It's a 3-wood, but it is the 3-wood called the HL, or the high launch. So it's got a little added loft to it. Now, this unfortunately isn't available at retail, but it is a tour part. So it's a 3 HL, which is 16.5 degrees, is the stock loft on it. Now, this loft for Stephan, he's playing his at 15.8 degrees, and his is shafted with a original Fujikura Ventus Blue 7X. He's playing it at 43 inches, and that's to the end of the grip. So the grip usually adds about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch onto the shaft, so it's probably cut just a little bit shorter than that, and a swing weight of D2. And now in his Fairway Woods, he then moves on to a 7-wood, and the 7-wood is a Ping G425 Max 7-wood, and that is shafted up with a Project X Hazardous Yellow 83 6.5, and it is the old handcrafted model. So if you remember back, there used to be an original just hazardous black, hazardous yellow. The yellow is a low launch, low spin shaft, but it's what they call counterbalanced. So the actual grip section of the shaft is heavier than the tip. And what this is it for a few different things. You can build a slightly longer club and not have the swing weight get out of control. You could actually have a similar length club with more weight in the head if you wanted to add hot melt for, a different type of shot shape or sound or feel. Or some players just like a slightly lighter swing weight that a counterbalance shaft offers. So this is an all-black shaft with the yellow hazardous logo, and it's still kind of low launch, low spin. And the handcrafted ones were ones that were hand-rolled in San Diego. So in True Temper or Project X headquarters, they would actually roll these shafts right there in headquarters. Now, Jaeger's irons are an old Ping cult classic from 2013. These are the Ping S55 irons. Now, the S55 was released 10, almost 11 years ago, but they're still considered some of the best irons people have ever played from comments I've seen on social media. Now, when you look at the S series, it is definitely geared towards the better player. It's a very compact shape, thin top line, reduced offset, and had a much more kind of blade look from the traditional larger Ping irons. Now, as much as they look just kind of like a blade or very small, shallow cavity back, they actually had a good amount of tech in them, especially for the time. If you look at that back cavity, as small as it looks, there's actually a thermoplastic insert that kind of help vibration and help with the feel. And if you remove that, they removed a lot of material from behind the face, moved it out to the perimeter, and then even added some tungsten out in the toe to increase the forgiveness and playability of the iron. These were shafted up with True Temper Dynamic Gold X100 Tour Issue shafts. And again, the Tour Issue moniker is basically weight sorting. They sort these to within plus or minus 0.5 gram. So you're getting the exact same shaft with extreme consistency and playability, weight, all that. So they all match very, very closely. Now, these come in at about 130 grams. So heavy, low launch, low spin iron shafts. We get into the wedges, and he is playing Titleist Vokey SM10s. He's playing a 50.12, which again, this is the gap wedge, the 50 degree, but it's got more bounce. The typical one is an 08F. He's playing the high bounce, the 12 version, and it's actually bent to 49 degrees. So anytime you bend something a little bit strong, you lose a little bit of bounce, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you bend a wedge 1 degree strong, you're going to lose 1 degree of bounce. So it's actually playing like a 49.11. He then moves on to a sand wedge, which is a 54.14F, and that is, again, full wide sole, Great for square type shots or a lot of bounce or float in the sand. And this is actually bent to 53. So again, taking another degree off the sole as well. So playing like a 53.13 F grind, even though that doesn't exist, that's what it's bent to. And then he's got a 56.14 F grind. So he loves the F grind, loves that full sole. And it's bent actually weak. So it's about 57.15 F grind, which again doesn't exist. But again, as you bend wedges weak, you're going to add a little bit of bounce. So he's got that full sole, adding a little bit more, where you'll get that float in the sand. You'll get great turf interaction playing the clubhead square. The one negative is if you open the face a little bit, that leading edge may come off the ground just a little bit. These are shafted up with True Temper Dynamic Gold S400 Tour Issue wedge shafts. And of course, the S400, a little bit softer than the X1 in his irons, but the profile is still the same, so it should have a similar feel. A little bit softer, a couple grams heavier as well. His putter is going to be an Odyssey AI1 2-ball. So the AI1 is the brand new putter from Odyssey that's got the face that was designed with AI. And it's a urethane front on it, and then the backside of the insert is an aluminum plate that's actually milled into kind of a pattern to help keep ball speed consistent, whether you strike it on the center, out on the toe, out on the heel, a little low, a little high. The face should actually flex and bring that ball speed to be extremely tight. Some people say it's marketing. I've used the AI1 putters, both the milled and the standard, and I actually think there's something to it. But it is a 2-ball shape, so on top it has the 2-ball, and it does have an L-neck hosel to give it just a little bit of toe hang. The grip on this one here is going to be a Superstroke Zenergy Pistol 1.0, so it's got a little bit more of a flared upper hand section in the palm and a nice flat top on it. For all his swinging clubs he's playing Golf Pride Z-Grip cords. They're very firm, very rough, and they tend to work well in wet or humid conditions, or if you're someone who sweats a lot. Extremely popular choice on tour. And then to finish it off, he's playing the Titleist Pro V1. So the Pro V1 compared to the X is going to be the lower spinning with the long game, lower ball flight, more penetrating, still has good spinner on the green, and it's also going to feel a little bit softer than the Pro V1X. So that is Jaeger's What's in the Bag after winning the Children's Texas Houston Open this weekend. Congratulations again to him, and we'll check back next week, see who's winning What's in the Bag we go through.